Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to The Pillars. We are a community led space aimed at supporting projects and educating investors through intelligent and meaningful conversations. Here we ask the tough questions you all want answered. Now, let me introduce to you a project that before the intro, we were already a bit talking about it. This is a project that does some aspects that are a bit outside of crypto, but incorporated in crypto. Our guest today is Matt from Investium Capital. This is a venture within crypto that focuses on generating income through arbitrage, specifically arbitraging foreign exchange. I believe it's at the moment just Argentinian pesos to US dollar, the discrepancies, the price discrepancies there. Um, and yeah, and now the next focus is also on Bitcoin mining. So we have an interesting project that has exposure to quite a lot of stuff, and especially Bitcoin mining now is quite exciting. I mean, I believe everyone that's currently listening has taken a look at, at the Bitcoin chart today, and it's been a crazy couple of days. But that means it's even more exciting to get into the mining business. And yeah, but as I also mentioned, a big part of their income generation is through arbitraging. So we're gonna also take a deeper look at that, how that works, what that means. Yeah, as you can see, we have a $50 giveaway happening. And in order to be eligible for that giveaway, you guys have to jump into the community questions channel and ask some engaging questions. Um, Support Matt Hatter. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much, David. Matt, welcome. Nice to have you in.
Thank you. Nice to be here. I'm always happy to answer any questions there is about Investium.
Great. I look forward to asking some questions. I am very curious about this one. I've got a lot of different things that I want to ask, and I see some of the people that are sitting in the audience, some of whom like to scrutinize projects, especially ones that are suggesting they can do what you're doing, which I always think is healthy because it's through those kind of scrutinizing questions that we can get some really good answers and see what's up and how safe we are in terms of investing. First, before
Yes.
we get on to Investium Capital. How did you find yourself coming about crypto? Why do you find yourself here, and what brought you really to this table?
Well, I started in crypto as an investor. I think everyone started as an investor, believing things projects used to say, like they were doing trading 1.5% a day. I thought that was possible, like sustainable over time. I was a bit of a noob, let's say, in crypto. I got scammed many times. After that, I got a bit frustrated. I lost a lot of my personal money, and that's where I tried to actually seek opportunities myself to invest. To like I to be the protagonist of the investments. I tried to invest my own money into arbitrage. I first thought it was a niche, like something just a few people could do, uh, and that's when I started to do my research. I started to search opportunities and found out that the best place to do arbitrage is in crisis times where economics are not stable. That's where price discrepancies happen. And I found myself in Argentina, which is a country at the border of an economic crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I started looking for opportunities and found the ones we do now at Investium.
So, are you based in Argentina now? That's where you live.
I live, well, I don't really live in a specific country. I move between Chile and Argentina.
Okay.
Uh, this is because now with our mining zone, which is our new addition to Investium, the crypto
Mm-hmm.
mining space, we have to order the miners to Chile because Argentina, they have a pretty hard and difficult custom system. So I get the miners here and they get shipped to Argentina by roads. I don't know how you say it in English, but not by
Yeah. I
plane.
mean, shift is fine. Your English is far better than my Spanish, so I wouldn't worry too much. Okay, so let's talk about the first aspect of what you do, which is arbitrage. Can you talk me through a little bit about what it is that you guys are doing and how this impacts the people that are investing with you at the moment?
So what we do is we offer fixed plans, investment plans that vary between locking period of days. So you have 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 45 days, and 60 days. At first, we wanted to make more days, but we thought that no one would lock their funds for more than 60 days in DeFi. So what we basically do is we take this money, we do arbitrage with it, which I'll explain now. So in Argentina, there's like a specific economic system where you have different types of US dollar value according to different types of operation you do. So let's say you pay Netflix with your Argentinian card. You have a card US dollar rate. Then you go to an exchange office to buy USD with Argentinian pesos. You get a different rate. There are different rates depending on the activity you do. So what we basically do is we analyze all those US dollar exchange rates, and we see, okay, we can sell here, buy here, and get some profit in the exchange. This profit usually varies between as low as 0.2% up to, let's say, 10% per operation. So what we do is people lock their funds. We do arbitrage with it, and anything above what we pay to the investor is our profit.
Understood. A lot of questions come to mind when I heard about what it is that you guys are doing. It's not dissimilar to a couple of other projects that have been in this space that have claimed to do the same thing, and then it turns out, in fact, they weren't. So I imagine you get a lot of pushback from people saying, well, are you really doing what you're doing? How are you doing it precisely? And can we track that you are, in fact, executing trades, buy, sell orders on the Argentinian peso in order to be able to make use of those arbitrage opportunities? How transparent are you guys when it does come to those trades?
We used to get a lot of questions about if what we were doing was real and those kind of things. Of course, we love people that doubt. Like I, as an investor, doubt investments. So I love when people doubt, not in a toxic way, but in a way that they want to actually know what's happening. Now we don't get that many of them because we try to make our transparency better over time. So what we decided to do, let me see, around a couple months, I'd say 1 to 1.5 months ago, we make our arbitrage public. So anyone that is in Argentina could actually replicate our exact trades. We understand that most of our investors or the people listening are not based in Argentina, nor have we have an alliance with an exchange office that make our rates a bit better. But anyways, if a normal person was living in Argentina, they could replicate our exact trades with maybe a little less percentage, but some profit anyways. So that's, since we launched that, we haven't been getting any questions about transparency or anything, since people can check it themselves.
Understood. So the follow-on question is then, why would you ever come into this space if you're already making money in arbitrage and it's as lucrative as it can be? Why would you start to come into this space and then give other people the opportunity and put a bit more pressure on your shoulders by trading with other people's money?
So this is a question I've been getting a lot. Well, not a lot, but a couple times. And it's basically a thing about passion, I think. I mean, it sounds a bit cliche, but before Investium Capital was launched, it was meant to be a digital wallet based in South America, which was going to be Vest Wallet with a V. So the project didn't work. I spent a lot of time trying to build a good website, trying to look for investors, it was going to be a fiat wallet more into Chilean peso, Argentinian peso, Brazilian real, and those currencies, like a Revolut, let's say. I think it was a bit ambitious, of course. We were aiming for older clients. They didn't understand the web. We didn't get any clients. We didn't get anything. So after that, well, I personally and my team, we got a bit frustrated, and that's when I discovered the arbitrage. So I didn't have much money at the time. I was basically a bit frustrated with everything that went wrong. So I decided to open it up for people. Like I've been scammed in the crypto space several times. I lost around $100,000 on projects like Stable Fund. People can say it was known to be a Ponzi or anything. Well, I was a noob in the crypto space at the time, or maybe not a noob, but a bit maybe too positive. Like I didn't believe people could actually do something to actually rob. So I wanted to make something good in the crypto space to change the ideas that people had in mind about everyone trying to scam you and actually make a positive product and be a positive influence in the crypto space.
Okay, great. And we like people that want to be a positive influence. And I'm certain just by you mentioning Stable Fund, you've given a few people that are listening some PTSD, because there are many people that were in that project and unfortunately got rugged. But it is a project like Stable Fund that I'm referring to that make promises that they can't sustain. And of course, the brain does, as you mentioned, go to Ponzi's and Ponzinomics. You guys have been going for how long now? How long has it been up and running?
A bit over 3 months now.
Okay, over 3 months, and you're able to sustain a steady daily payout, which is quite lucrative. I've listened to the coverage that we've had from Crypto Andy and Pocket Aces in relation to what it is that you guys are doing, and I understand that it's a nice steady payout. How are you guys able to maintain that steady payout without there being an element of Ponzinomics to it?
So what at the moment we already have a big treasury stacked up. If you check, well, in our Discord server we have a channel called Weekly Results, where we share basically all the results we've been getting each week, like a summary. And we, as a company, earn around 2x, 2 to 3x of what we pay out. We've been earning that at least during the last 3 months in average. So we have a withdrawal wallet where we try to withdrawals. First of all, are manual. This is because in arbitrage you have to have the money liquid, able to use it, and we try to do arbitrage with most part of the TVL. So if we had like 50% of the TVL able to being withdrawn, then we wouldn't be able to get the percentages we get, since we would only be able to invest 50% of the TVL. But yeah, our profits are basically a lot higher than what we pay out. I know what we pay out is already high enough, but we sustain it that way. So, of course, if I don't want to scare anyone, but if something bad would happen, like we would had bad weeks or bad results or anything, we would be forced to lower the percentages. Like holding something Ponzi or trying to, like, it's better to, and this is an advice for every project owner as well. Like if you have a project, if you have something you're building, it's better to actually be honest and say, okay, I'm making less than what I'm paying out. This is not sustainable. It would explode like any time now. So lower it and make it sustainable. Like deliver a good product.
Now, one of the things you confirmed, I guess, is that this opportunity is only to people that actually live in Argentina. That's where you're getting the preferred rates. It isn't something that someone can start doing from outside of the country. Is that right?
That's right. But I'm sure there are arbitrage opportunities everywhere. Like arbitrage exists since a lot of years ago. It has been existing for a long time. You can see it everywhere. Like you can go buy an iPhone at one place, and there's a price difference between the same product at another store. You just have to like look for opportunities, see where you can profit and do the arbitrage. So
Right.
we just found ourselves in Argentina, where the economic crisis allows us to do monetary arbitrage. But I know firsthand that I could be doing arbitrage in Chile as well, even though there are not many types of US dollar exchange, which happens in Argentina. There are still exchange differences, like, I don't know, Binance and Bybit. Not all the time, but sometimes you can get like a 0.2% operation, and you can do that operation many times, so get like a 1 or 2%. So there are always opportunities everywhere.
I'm just reading one of the comments here, and I think they're right. And it's my mind immediately went to this as well, which is COTPS. My last experience, in fact, is the same as Gabo, which is that I had money in that particular project. So when I hear arbitrage, I always go to, okay, there are visuals that you can always give that suggest that these trades are happening. But when it came to that, you could never be too sure. You're obviously saying that we can track what you're doing. How many down days have you had since you've been arbitraging? Because you can never have straight green days every single day, right? It's near on impossible. So have you had many down days? And when you have those down days, how do you reset yourself to ensure that it doesn't become something that happens on a regular basis?
So, well, with arbitrage, you don't really have down days, like minus days, days in loss. Because what you do with arbitrage is, okay, you either have the opportunity of profitable exchange or you don't. So if you don't have it, you just don't execute any operation. And if you don't execute any operation, what happens is you just don't profit. Like, you can't lose the money.
Right.
So we've had like several days of no operations. It happens constantly. Like, we have a channel called Arbitrage, where we post every arbitrage once executed. So let's say today we executed an arbitrage, and last arbitrage was March 3rd. So yesterday we didn't execute any operation, for example.
Right. I think those low operation days are also something that's really interesting to dial into. If we're not going to consider them down days or red days, let's call them low operation days. I think that's a better wording for it.
Mm-hmm.
The economic climate is such, and Argentina is changing on a regular basis. Now, I'm not going to profess to be an expert in Argentinian politics, but I'm certain there are always things that people are discussing on how they can improve the current state of affairs in the country. How much of that on a day-to-day basis might affect your ability to be able to arbitrage in the way that you're doing now, and what happens and what will you guys do, given that you have, and we'll talk about the TVL, because it should be noted you guys have amassed 700,000. Is that right? Is it 700,000 or just shy of
That's the cap.
514? Okay, that's the cap. So you're on 514,795 right now. Is that right? Is that the accurate figure?
Yes, it's in the
Right.
website.
Great. So, if anything does happen and you guys start to see that you're having these low volume days and things aren't quite going in the direction that you'd hoped to allow you to continue arbitraging, what kind of contingencies will you or do you have in place that ensure you're really protecting the people investing with you?
So it's pretty easy. Like, if we had bad days consistently and arbitrage wasn't working, we would refund everyone their money and shut down. Like, we wouldn't hold a Ponzi scheme or pay out more than we're making. So we hope that wouldn't happen. But if it happens, we would have to shut down. Like, we wouldn't have a project that's not making money, paying out money that's not being generated.
Right. Now, I hear what you're saying and I appreciate the words. How do people know that that would be the case? I know you guys are not doxed. I know that you have KYC'd, of course, with the people that are in the background guiding you. I've heard both Crypto Andy and Pocket Aces say that they've got the details. So if anything were to happen, they are in a position to perhaps take some kind of action. But what else is in place from you guys that really allows people to have that trust? Because it's great that you approach this with the mindset that you want to do better for the space and you want to lead by example. As we know, there are some people that when the pressures have got too much for them or things have gone in a direction that they haven't experienced before or expected, just by that lack of experience and perhaps not necessarily understanding when to not move or how to make a decision under pressure, has caused a lot of losses for people. So what are you guys doing to really mitigate against that?
So we have part of our treasury, which is basically our margin. We call it Investium Capital margin, is being invested into crypto mining, which
Right.
is also a safe place to, if something bad were to happen, we still have the miners to produce and basically try to recover. But other than that, we try to be, of course, as transparent as possible to show every arbitrage, to show every trades with official links. Like our last arbitrage today, they have the exact links about. They can see the exact prices and see the price discrepancies. Like investors can see them, can see it themselves. Um, so other than that, we just have organized accountability, and if something bad were to happen, um, we would just shut down. Like I don't know what else. Like if we didn't generate money, we wouldn't operate. Like
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, and of course, like I said at the top of this, one of the things that's great about people that are willing to answer things as transparently as you are, is that we can press a little harder and ask these questions, because I think it's important that they're asked, and your answers determine how people might feel about this. And I have heard you say in the AMAs that you've done that you are only 60% in terms of building out, and you don't necessarily need more people to come into this. You guys are profitable and can sustain what you're doing at the moment with the money you have. So if people are not comfortable, don't jump in. And I think that's a great start in terms of how you direct people. Would you say?
yes, I've said that as well. Like if people are not comfortable, they should not come in. Like I was an investor as well, and it's horrible to invest in a project where you have doubts. So if you have doubts, don't come and invest in. Well, it sounds bad or it sounds like tough, but we don't need you. Like we are making money with the money we have. We don't really need more investors. Of course, it's a good thing to have them, but it's not something we need to keep our project sustainable.
Okay, great. And again, I'm sure there are plenty of people that will really appreciate hearing that. It's also, in a way, a great marketing tool if you are able to say, I don't necessarily need your money, so please don't come in, because it will allow people to feel a bit more comfortable. You mentioned the miners. I know that there is a method to the madness in terms of where you are wanting to put your money and what you guys are trying to achieve. And the next step for you is mining. So let's talk about that a little bit. What are you guys wanting to do for, let me call it a phase 2, and the mining zone that you're going to be releasing? I see that people can buy shares into miners. What's happening there?
So at first, the mining zone was something private. We as a company, we invested into crypto mining, and we were thinking about investing into crypto mining, part of our treasury. Let's say a big chunk of it, to basically have assets and diversify our income. And that's always good in a business. And that's when the idea came up of we have access to low electricity costs in Argentina. So the idea came about, okay, let's sell a miner, like a digital miner. Let's allow people to own the miner, profit out of it, and we charge a commission. So if we sold a miner, let's say we bought it for, I don't know, $5,000, we sold it for $5,000 and charged a commission of 20%, we could essentially own 1.2 miners. So in terms of money,
Right.
So we could buy another one. So it was like mostly a business strategy. And we thought, of course, we needed to deliver a good product to the investors. So we made all the calculations, saw if it was profitable for the investors, profitable for us, and it's a win-win for everyone. After that, we thought about how to be different than other crypto mining projects. And that's where the ideas of the live cameras came up. So
Right.
we didn't. Oh, I wanted to mention something as well. Like we haven't done any paid marketing for now. If you look for Investium Capital in YouTube, there are like, I don't know, let's say 6 to 7 videos, and mostly from Crypto Andy and Pocket Aces. So we're not doing paid marketing or anything like that. Like we don't really need it. But going back to the mining zone, So we are at the moment working on getting the warehouse, getting the miners set up, and to differentiate from other projects, we will have a live camera. We will be totally transparent with the mining wallets, so everyone will be able to check how much the miners are producing, if they're working or not, see the live camera 24/7, and we will always have a different modus operandi, a different way of approaching the business that most mining projects don't do. Mining projects usually they get funds from people with an idea of developing a project. After getting those funds, they say, okay, we will mine now eventually. What we do is we invest our margin. So if we as a company have, let's say, $20,000 spared, we invest that into mining. And after those miners are up and running, that's when we sell them.
Okay.
So when it's published on our web app marketplace, that means the miner is already producing money. So the risk is on us, basically, not on the investor.
The live camera intrigues me. I was very intrigued by the live camera. I've got to say, when I first heard the live camera, I didn't realize that it was in relation to the miners, and I thought it might be in relation to the trading. And I thought, fantastic. Someone who's willing to show the live trades, even if you don't want to dox and you're masked, you're going to be willing to give us the opportunity to see things being executed in real time so that we know it's happening. Is that a consideration that you're also going to have, so people can look at the live camera, check the miners, you're going to be fully transparent? Is that going to trickle into what it is that you say you're doing with the arbitrage opportunities as well?
So we've thought about, like, we're all about transparency. So anything and any suggestion anyone might have about transparency, we will listen to it and try to implement it. The thing is, we also look for the security of the project and of ourselves. And the trades happen in Argentina, which is not specifically a safe country. So having a live camera actually showing your location, showing everything, dealing with money is a bit risky, not only for us, but also for other investors and for the business itself. So we took it into consideration, but I think we won't be doing it just out of security.
Now, I hear what you're saying when you talk about security, and I understand why you would say that. And actually, you're not the first mining company that has suggested that they won't disclose where they're mining for those very reasons. But you'll understand, I'm sure, that some people might listen to that response and say, well, that's a very convenient built-in reason to not have to give us certain pieces of information that would be vital for us to know it's actually happening. And one of the things that's certainly important, especially in the DeFi space and with what we're trying to do in Web3, is in order to mitigate as best we can against all of the bad actors in this space and all of the people that rug, we want those that are trying to lead by example to really push their boundaries in terms of how much info they give us, so that we can be safe and secure in the knowledge that they're actually going through what they say they are. So are you thinking of plans by which you can keep yourself safe? You can perhaps not disclose fully what you're doing. You don't necessarily going to give too much information, so that like you say, Argentina is not a safe space, and if people know where you are, perhaps they're going to come after your warehouse, your miners, etc. But are you thinking of ways by which you're going to make this process, especially with the arbitrage side of things, more transparent with more information?
So the thing is, I personally and my team, we try to look everything as an investor point of view, since we were investors at start. And I, as an investor, would like to see the project running. I, as an investor, would maybe like to see the miner invoices. I would like to see the miner working on a live camera or anything. I would like to see the wallets generating the money, to see the cash flow, to see the most I can. But I, as an investor, would feel pretty uncomfortable if the location of the miner, which I don't have control of, was public. I think I would feel insecure, especially if, well, I'm used to South American and security and those kind of stuff, but probably a guy from Germany is not used to what happens in Argentina, and they probably think it's like West Oasis or something, like people with guns running in the streets or stuff like that. Of course, it's not like that, but if you don't know what happens, you might think that is what's going on there. So I wouldn't feel comfortable having my miner location being public. Um, so that's
Sure. Okay.
that's
No, I
how
understand
I
what you're saying.
feel good as
and
an
and
investor.
and yeah, I get it, and I hope that you guys perhaps find a way or a workaround that allows you to feel safe and secure, that doesn't necessarily give away any kind of locations, but does allow people a bit more of an insight into what's happening. Because let's face it, you do have a cap of 700k, but I'm sure you have aspirations of scaling this even larger and making sure that this can be even more sustainable. Why the 700k? Let's start with that. How come you guys decided the 700k is where we're going to stop for the moment, and we'll reassess somewhere down the line once we hit that?
So the 700k is a limit for arbitrage only, not for miners. It's a theoretical limit. So at first, of course, we had a TVL of, let's say, $5,000 when we started. So we actually didn't know what it was like to manage more funds. And out of pure responsibility and safetyness, we decided to put a cap on $700,000, take a breath, analyze the efficiency of the business, see if it's working properly, and if it is, and we can manage more, then raise the cap. Of course, it won't happen anytime soon, but it's a safe cap to breathe and to be able to sustain the project over time.
Right. I appreciate you being very candid with your answers, and I appreciate that I'm perhaps throwing some slightly more robust questions at you than you have typically faced up till this point. So it's a great conversation, and thank you for that.
No, it's very
With that
nice. Your questions are good.
Thank you very much. Well, with that in mind, forgive me, but I have to press it a little hard. Do you have the experience needed to be able to deal with $500,000 worth of TVL? And if you don't have the experience, are you self-aware enough to say, I don't have it and I need to bring other people in to help me so that I can manage this the best way possible?
Oh, it's not only me. We're a team of 3 founders. One of them, he's a developer, so he's mostly a tech guy that does the whole tech support, helps in every error on the website and those kind of things. And my other partner is called Yususwal in the Discord server. Between me and him, we manage the operations. He's the one doing most of them. We never did $500,000 operations before Investium. I think our cap was doing 300k. Of course, we're learning. We're trying to do it the most efficient way. I think it's like this is not new to us, the whole arbitrage thing, but the whole logistics between the operations is new. That's why we didn't do marketing as well, because it usually happens with new projects with new ideas that they think they're immortal and they just do insane marketing. They get $5 million and everything blows up. So that's why we preferred steady growth, slowly but surely, with a marketing of like mouth to mouth. And yeah, that's how we've been doing it. Now, yesterday we had a meeting with Yusuf. We talked about the arbitrage, how it's going, and we feel, of course, safe that we can do even $5 million in arbitrage, but we still want to keep the $700,000 cap, take a breath, and actually see what we've accomplished, and try to keep it as safe as possible.
Right. It's interesting because I'm reading the comments and it's some fascinating conversations that are happening in there while we're speaking as well. And one of the things that always comes to light with something like this is the more that you guys are able to give positive returns to people so far, the more you're going to be scrutinized, especially with certain things that you won't give out because of safety reasons. And I think it's very interesting that you guys then have to deal with that double-edged sword, really, which is no marketing to a point, but it may well tip to a point where you guys need to start ensuring that you can bring more capital in. Are you thinking about that? Is there marketing that will come down the line? Because you've mentioned several times now you haven't done it yet. And how might that look when you guys start on that endeavor?
It will probably come once all the miners are set up and running. So right now we only have. So I'll tell you the whole story. So we
Mhm.
were first going to do air-cooled miners, which are basically the ones that do a lot of noise.
Mhm.
And we had 9 miners, and only like 9. It's not a much money, but we invested our margin in that, and we decided to sell them on the web. So what happened is a couple ones got sold, some percentages of another ones, and we had problems with the noise. So neighbors were saying that the noise was too much, that they couldn't handle it. So we figured out a way to avoid the noise, but we found out that growing and exponentially with air-cooled miners was going to be very hard, especially to find a place to store them. So that's
Mhm.
where we migrated into hydro-cooled ones, which are the ones cooled by water, basically, by liquid cooling. And what we basically are doing right now is getting the warehouses set up, the cooling systems. They have to like the mining company does. The mining supplier doesn't sell the cooled system, the cooling system, so we buy it third party.
Mhm.
Um, and now we're doing that. So after that is set up, we will probably do a bit of marketing, maybe not. Like it depends on how it goes. Like we don't need marketing to actually make money, because of course we sell the miner, but if the miner doesn't sell, we still make the money the miner is producing. So it's like it's a way to allow people to invest into crypto mining, but it's also a way to store our assets and get our treasury instead of having USDT having assets for the company.
Right. Are you mining residentially or uh,
No,
okay?
we get warehouses with I don't know the exact term in English, but it's like tri energy, like the three things. In Spanish, it's called trifásica.
Hmm. And
Uh,
what does your agreement look like with any kind of energy company? Do you have a set period that you have to be tied into them with? Is it a rolling contract that you guys have? What does that contract typically look like so that you guys are able to get the best out of it in terms of prices?
so in Argentina, you have 3 types of pricings, which comes to like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 is like residential energy. Then you have
Hmm.
tier 1 with the tri-electric thing. Well, let me search for the term. It's in English. Three-phase electric installation. Then there's like tier 2, which is for minor industries. That's where we are.
Hmm.
Um, we don't get the contracts. We usually hire, we rent, sorry, a place that already has the contract in the place installed. That's just to mainly, it's more efficient than us doing all the bureaucracy.
Right.
Um, and that's it. We get 3 cents per kilowatt hour, approximately, which allows us to do this.
Okay. Um, There's still a lot of questions going on about the arbitraging. It's interesting because I know you guys are very excited about the mining, and it's the mining that you guys want to move into. And that's, from what I gather, is where your true passion is. And of course, arbitrage was something that you felt you guys were good at. You were able to earn money through, and that's how you have been able to start. Has the arbitrage money that you've brought in, I suppose that was because you wanted to buy as many miners as you could and really move into the mining section that you guys are passionate about. Would that be fair?
I think, well, I personally am passionate about numbers, so anything numbers related, I'm passionate about. So arbitrage, I like it as well because there are a lot of numbers to go through, a lot of edges to to see. So I'm passionate about everything mathematics related.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, mining is a good thing, and it's the good thing is that arbitrage, sorry, uh, like it's not up to us. So of course, mining isn't as well because it uh, depends on the BTC price. But arbitrage, sorry, is a bit complex in that term because, well, in Argentina, this new president he wants to dollarize the economy. So that's where maybe arbitrage in Argentina will stop. That
Hmm.
might happen in about a year or two, but it could happen in a year or two. So we're not scared about it, of course, but that's the thing with arbitrage. You just have to find the opportunity. But with mining, it's more of you're producing something. Like, I don't know. I like
Right.
it. I like mining. I loved GPU mining as well in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's profitable still. Like at least in low electricity costs countries. But of course, ASIC mining is much more profitable.
And is moving to mining full time something that you guys are aiming to do? Would you eventually want to move away from anything else other than mining? Is that the ultimate goal?
We want to do anything that's profitable. So if arbitrage is still profitable, we will still be doing it, of course.
Right. Okay. And remind me, how long did you say you'd been arbitraging for? I know you said it at the top of the conversation. I just want to remind myself.
We started November 28th, so around 3 months and 1 week, I'd say.
It's interesting because it isn't a lot of time, and I'm not adverse to people saying that they might have backgrounds that allow them to pick things up very quickly, and therefore they can become very good at it very fast. However, there might be people that out there that would say, well, 3 months is not an awful lot of time to gain enough experience. So it brings me back to a question I asked. I don't know if I got a full response to, which is, who will you lean on, or who do you lean on for your advice in terms of this? Um, is there someone in the background with a bit more experience that you're able to speak to, either online or in real life, that you're gaining your advice from?
So, of course, I speak to like all my parents, my girlfriend parents. They are all entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
business owners. I always try to seek for advice on everyone I can. But I think we're. I know it's we didn't have the experience, but I think we're prepared. Uh, like the issue isn't the arbitrage itself; it's the logistics of moving that amount of cash. So that's what we've been learning, and it's going pretty well. Like I'd say the logistics is like we're in the hardest country to do the logistics because of because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous country.
Right,
But
of
other
course.
than that, um, for 700K we're okay. For 2 mil we're okay. After that, we might need to hire companies like let's say bricks or stuff like that that move cash on a big truck. But for now, we're okay with what we have.
That's something that I hadn't considered until you just mentioned it, is the actual physical act of moving money on a truck. And it's something that perhaps will get lost in the conversation, and that is a real consideration in terms of safety. May I part a bit of advice to you? And that advice is, if you have only been arbitraging for 3 months, and I'm not saying that you're not very good at it. I know and have spoken to Pocket Aces many times, and I've, I consume his videos. I love the content that he puts out there. Same with Crypto Andy, in order to dive into various projects. But I would say you are in need of someone with some experience sitting behind you, not just for your own sake and your own safety, but also the optical safety of the people that are investing with you, and just the knowledge that there is someone who can potentially pump the brakes with you guys if they need to reassess, and have that experience of running perhaps this kind of thing for a bit longer. I think that would go a long way to easing a lot of people's minds, if in fact you even wanted to ease, more people's minds as you start to scale up. It's one thing that occurred to me as I was listening to the content that I was listening to for you guys, is that I think it would be something that would be very beneficial to you guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Like we're of course open to have mentors and people with a lot of knowledge in our team. And
Hmm.
well, I want to talk a bit about my personal background. So
Please do.
I studied mathematics.
Hmm.
Um, I before Investium I had 3 companies. One of them an investment company as well in Chile.
Hmm.
Others were game related. So I'd say I have some experience in the field. I I don't know. I'd say I'm not like a noob in the company thing, you know.
You're welcome to own your experience. You don't have to say it in any kind of way that is shy or reserved. If you feel that you are up to the task, then you should say you feel you are up to the task. So
I
don't
think
ever
you
apologize
always.
for quantifying yourself.
No, yes, I think you can always be better, of course. Like, I think it would sound a bit arrogant if I'd say, no, I am the best at arbitrage. I think you can always do better. But of course, I think I'm prepared and my team is prepared for what we're doing.
Great, and that's a fair answer. And I think it's, these questions, like I said, are more a case of that you're going to get these based on, unfortunately, the actors that came before you. And there are people that not just with the arbitraging or the mining, but there are people that claim they could do things they couldn't with large amounts of money. And it transpired they were faking documents or, faking trades. And, I think people are going to start asking these questions. Because, let's name one, for example, Wolf Capital. The founder there was very, very confident in his abilities to execute on certain things. And when shit hit the fan, he crumbled very, very fast. And that was unfortunate for a lot of people who lost a ton of money. So I think conversations like this are really good to not just help you understand what people are perhaps thinking in the back end, but not communicating to you, but allow the community to ask their relevant questions. So again, I appreciate you coming in and being so transparent. Let's
Yes.
talk a little bit about the Stripe situation that you guys have. What
Yes.
happened there? You guys had an issue with Stripe. They flagged you as being high risk, and therefore they stopped people being able to deposit. Are you able to go into a bit more detail?
Yes. So what basically happened is we thought about adding debit and credit card top up payment option for
Mhm,
Investium to basically allow people that maybe are not yet that used to crypto or don't know how to bridge a coin or stuff like that.
mhm,
Um, so what happened is we thought about Stripe, and people were trying to take advantage of it. They sent deposits and then talked. Well, that's at least what we got from Stripe, that they were getting reports for fraudulent activity.
mhm.
So people, I'd say, were trying to make the deposit, get the cash in their Investium account, then ask for a refund on their bank, and basically take advantage of us and everyone in the project. Um, so after that, they locked our account. They said it would be closed in 5 days. I think it's closed in around 2 days, but it's still inactive.
Right.
And after that, they would refund every user. So that was the issue. It was they were bad news. We tried to solve this as professional as possible. So we told everyone that we had to take their investing money out. They would get their refunds from Stripe within 10 days, and we, out of our margin, we let them have their investment profits in the wallet. We didn't take those out.
Right. So Stripe flagged you because you are a high risk space, or because people were trying to do things that were fraudulent and they weren't sure whether or not you were in on it.
So when people try to refund their money for fraudulent activities, that's when Stripe flags you as a high risk business. So
I
it's
see.
they come together.
Right. Okay. I understand. It's unfortunate. I know the trials and tribulations of dealing with Stripe because I've had a business Stripe account myself. Um, how are you going to stop that from happening moving forward? Are there going to be conversations that you'll be having with merchants in the future, should you choose to use them, that will allow them to know what it is that you're doing in the space that you're operating in, so that something like this doesn't happen again?
We will for sure have talks before introducing a new debit or credit card payment method. We're looking for suggestions as well from our members. We got a bunch of suggestions about like MoonPay and Spritz, I think, or many companies. We will probably do our research, see what's best, not only for us but also for our investors, uh, and maybe introduce it to the community, see if they're okay, and then launch it. Or maybe
I
we
think ours,
won't. have any credit debit card top up method from now on. It depends on what we find, and if it's a competitive company that can bring us the credit debit card top up method.
Right. So how do people get involved with you guys at the moment? I know it's it's not a DApp, right? So you're not executing anything on chain at the minute. How do people get their crypto to you if they want to invest with you guys?
So they send a deposit in the BNB chain, in the Binance Smart Chain. Um, we have our web connected to the chain via API. It detects the deposit. They put the exact amount they deposited, and it gets confirmed in the web instantly. Withdrawals are manual because of what I talked before. We need to have the money available for the arbitrage. But they take max amount of time is 12 hours. They usually take around 2 hours.
Okay. And I know, like I said, you said you guys are about 60% of the way in terms of building things out. Are you going to be giving the website a facelift? Is there a different look that might be coming along at some point to have this kind of really reflect what it is that you guys are doing, how much is locked in, for example?
So we want to add more information in the web. So all the content is basically on the videos we've been part of. We think for new investors that don't know the videos, having a web with all the information would be good. That's something we're planning on doing. But for the roadmap, our plans in terms of content is actually to be able to launch successfully the live cameras on the Bitcoin miners, um, and just keep doing what we're doing.
Okay. Before I ask you to talk us through a little bit about what it is that you're offering in terms of daily returns, and like you said, you've been doing this for 3 months now. How far off are you off considering full-time security for yourselves so that you can operate with a bit more of a peace of mind and perhaps can start being a bit freer with what it is that you guys say?
I didn't understand the question.
Are you far off of having some full-time security as the money begins to grow? All it will take is a slip, for example, is a conversation that you have with someone that you shouldn't have had, or with the best intention in the world, I suppose word can get around quite quickly. What
Yes.
it is that you guys are doing. So how far are you away from making sure that you guys are secured with some form of full-time security so that you can then have a bit more of a peace of mind and be a bit more relaxed in terms of what it is that you're doing?
So what we are doing is we're trying to move all our operations to be digital. Uh, there are some regulations in Argentina. You can have Argentinian peso bank account, but also US dollar bank account. So that would allow us to do all the arbitrage digitally. That's what we're aiming for. Of course, having digital operations require a lot of accountability, bureaucracy, taxes, and those kind of things we're sorting out. But that's what we aim for.
Great. And in terms of transporting any kind of capital, are you guys insured for that?
We're not insured at the moment. We try to be as discreet as possible. That's why we didn't KYC publicly. We were going to do it actually, but after thinking about it, we decided not to. We KYC privately with Andy and Crypto Andy and Pocket Aces. But apart of from that, we have a driver. We try to do it as discreet as possible, and uh, of some cash we actually withdraw in the same place we do the operation. So it's kind of digital but physical, So exchange offices, the ones we are allied with, they accept USDT exchange and USD. Then we do like it's digital but physical. So digital physically. I don't know if
Fine.
you get it.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
And I think maybe again, insurance is something that is almost a must in situations where you're having to physically move something from A to B, if you want to be as safe as humanly possible. And if that perhaps means reducing a little bit of the returns that you offer because it costs money to do so, I don't necessarily know if people would be too upset with that. if they know that this can continue long term, they are fully secured. And if things were to go wrong, they know that you guys are insured for that loss. So with that in mind, let's talk about the returns that you guys are suggesting that you can give on a consistent basis. Talk to me about those. How much are you giving on a daily basis now?
So we're giving, depending on the plan in the arbitrage part, depending on the lockdown time. So there's 60 days, that's 0.8% a day. Then there's 45 days, that's 0.7% a day. Then there's 30 days, that's 0.6% a day. Then 14 days, that's 0.5% a day. Then 7 days, which is 0.4% a day. That's in the arbitrage section. And then in the mining zone, what we will do is we aim to offer 100% APY. So it works like this. We have a formula that calculates our electricity cost, the watts that the miner needs to operate, our electricity cost, the cost of the miner, and like the idea of the formula is, okay, it has to be 100% APY. Then it automatically calculates the price that the miner have to be for it to have 100% APY. So the entry point is 100% APY. Of course, it's not fixed. So if someone buys, let's say now that Bitcoin had a drop, like yesterday, the S19K Pro, which is a miner, was priced at $4,600 in our web. Right now, it's priced at $4,100. That's because Bitcoin dropped in price, so the miner dropped in price as well. So the entry point is 100% APY, but once the share is purchased, then if Bitcoin goes up, the APY goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, the APY goes down as well.
A question that immediately came through, and by someone who is very experienced in mining and selling miners, is why is it priced at 4K?
It's priced at 4K because the estimated APY is 100%. So it's basically like when we started and Bitcoin was at $42,000, I believe. The miner price was around $2,400.
Right,
So
okay.
it basically follows the BTC price and tries to have 100% APY for the entry point.
Well, I think, those returns, bearing in mind you've been delivering those for 3 months, have obviously been great for everybody that's been in it so far. And you guys appear to be fairly confident in terms of what you guys are trying to execute at the moment. From my point of view, these conversations are really interesting, and this one in particular is interesting because I sit very much on the fence with what I'm seeing, reading, hearing, and it's a conundrum for me because I can hear that you are wanting to do things the right way, and your tone is certainly giving that impression. Also, there are going to be so many questions with something like this that it becomes a fascinating journey to watch because you're going to be grilled and grilled and grilled until you give all of the information to, I suppose, the communities. But then you're also saying on the other side of the coin that actually you don't feel you need to really encourage anybody to get in. So if they're not comfortable, don't invest, is what you're saying. And I think that is also a good narrative to have. Is there anything I have not covered that you wish I had during the conversation?
I think this was probably the most complete AMA I've been in.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm still made of questions. I mean, I could go on for another hour, but I am aware that I've had you for a long time now. I would love to do a follow-up with you at some point. Perhaps we can get you back in a month's time, or maybe when you hit your 700K TVL. I'd love to have a conversation, maybe, in fact, bring up the two gentlemen that have been helping you in the back end, who your KYC, to have a conversation with them live on stage if they'd be up for it, as well as you, to have a real conversation about how the journey has gone up until that point and what you guys plan to do now that you've hit the 700K. Does that sound like a plan?
Would be awesome. I'd love it.
Perfect. Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a really good conversation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. You've got the chat absolutely bubbling with questions, so definitely jump into the community questions. Have a look at what people are asking. We're going to be doing the giveaway now. It's $50, as people know. In order to be eligible, you have to jump into the Investium Capital Discord. We're going to pin that link now in the community questions section. I look forward to doing this again, dude. So thank you so much for coming in, and you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks for the space. Thanks for your time. It was awesome.
Pleasure. Take care, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Bye.